This is Spotlight, and we are just engaging some perspectives that will be helpful to us, especially as we begin this new year, 2024, a gift from God, a gift of grace. No one has really a right to be here, but God has licensed us to be here, and we are happy to have with us Reverend Joseph Obwanda, who is giving us perspectives, giving us political perspective, also a spiritual perspective, and I want to look at a practical perspective on the kind of attitudes we need to bring to our tasks. And as we talked a little earlier, we want to talk about excellence and its value as we get into this new year. Now, Reverend Joseph, you are quite the writer. You're quite the author.
By God's grace.
And your latest book is Accelerations.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You also create your own words here.
Yeah.
Accelerations.
Yes.
And you talk about the 26 excellency inspirations for your personal and professional significance.
Yeah.
Now, 26 sounds like the alphabet, right?
Yes.
Is that?
They are the 26 letters of the alphabet.
Okay.
So I've curated on each of them excellency inspirations. The acceleration is a fusion of the two words, excellence and inspiration.
Okay.
So from the letter A for attitude to the letter Z for zest. What are those concepts that you need to develop in your life that will consistently ensure that you are accelerated or you're progressing in your life? They are the excellency inspirations.
You know, some people from some parts of this country will not pronounce this word. They say exactly. You know,
that would be fine, so long as they get the idea.
All right. Now,
I would also want to say the 26 letters of the alphabet is also very intentional because if you are going to go through the year, if you take one of the concepts for 2 weeks, by the end of the 52 weeks of the year, you'll have covered the 26 excellency inspirations. I see you by the end of the 2024 very accelerated.
Okay.
Yes.
That's quite hopeful.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's
a good structure.
It's priestly or political or personal, but let's talk about this because you have a great interest in the area of excellence.
Absolutely.
Now, what do you read in our society that makes you so interested in always being a champion of excellence?
I think fundamentally what I see that emboldens and encourages me is that one, we have great potential. We have great possibilities ever hanging over our lives. Some of those prophetic words and declarations that we say at the beginning of the year, they are indicative of what can be and what should be. So one has said this is the year of new beginnings, the year of breakthrough, the year of whatever they may say. Those are indications of what is resident within us, in our spirits and our hopes. However, there's a gravitational pull, or there's something that pulls us or holds us down, which is called mediocrity. Mediocrity is, especially in our context in Africa, and I'm a Afro optimist. I believe I'm positive about Africa, but for the most part, we celebrate mediocrity, and so that when I look at the mediocrity and I look at the potentials that are in us, I believe that when we start speaking and encouraging and coaching and training on excellence, we'll break away from that hold that keeps us down in mediocrity.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting that you find excellence as a skill that can be learned, because there's some people who would say, who always marvel at how other people do things, right? They marvel at, wow, I mean, and they feel as if these good performances are locked with particular people. But now you have this perspective that excellence can be learned.
Absolutely. See, there are three or let me just say, there are three permutations of the word excellence or the word excel. The word excel would mean, one, you exceed. Number 2, it will mean you surpass. And number 3, it will mean you outstand. So when you're saying you exceed, you ask yourself, what has been done? What did you do last year? What did you achieve last year? What did you attain to last year? What did you know last year? Now, yesterday's excellence is today's mediocrity. Today's excellence is tomorrow's mediocrity. So you must consistently set the bar to make your today's maximum your tomorrow's minimum. And that is a skill that if we master, small but constant and cumulative growth, that you just ask yourself, what worked yesterday? Make it work today, but now more intentionally with a slight tweak, and you get to start moving towards excellence. The second area said surpass. Basically, what is expected for you to do? What's expected of you to be? Then ask yourself, is this the most that, is this the best of me? You keep on defining and redefining yourself in ways, the more you're exposed and you're mentored and enabled in different spaces and to people, then you find you keep on surprising and surpassing your own standards, your own expectation. The tragedy is that many people set standards or set targets too low, that when they achieve them, they set them too low that they keep achieving them, and therefore they nurture mediocrity. So set standards high, that if you're aiming for the skies, if you're aiming to hit the bird, aim for the skies. If you miss the skies, you still hit the bird. And the third level is outstand. Outstand, always ask yourself, can I be a role model? How is it being done now? So exceed is what has been done, surpass what's expected to be done, and outstand, how is it done? Do you now create your own niche, your own brand? Don't, this time I'm haggling with the concept of, don't just make choices now, make decisions. Choices are for mediocres, decisions are for excellencies. Because when you are making choices, it means somebody has made decisions. So you're making choices out of people's decisions. Don't let people make decisions for you, and then you make your choices. For example, if you're going to buy something this year or acquire something this year, don't make it a choice. Make it a decision so that it's something that you have decided, its standard, its quality. If it's not available within the choices that are there presented to you, you go to any extent to get it. That means you keep on becoming innovative, creative. Don't set goals and targets or resolutions, as you call them, based on what you saw last year. Do it based on what has never been seen, what has never existed, but it's a resident in your spirit. It's your conviction, not out of convenience.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that distinction between choices and decisions.
Yes.
Looking forward to what more will come from that.
Absolutely.
When we are still at this, I'm asking myself also, what's the motivation?
Yeah.
Because when you go to the workplace, you are pushed sometimes. And you have to get new targets. There are always new levels. And so you perform better because of external targets, right? And so the reward will be maybe the work reward.
Right.
But in terms of excellence as a way of being, apart from external rewards,
Right.
what else should be the motivation of embracing a life of excellence?
We talk of in our program that we train on Excellency Master Course, which I'm proud that you are an alumni of. We emphasize three things: virtues, values, and principles, VVPs. So virtues is who you are. Values are what you do because of who you are. Principles are why you do what you do because of who you are. So there's virtues, who you are; values, what you do; and principles, why you do them. So if you ask yourself, is this who I am? So whenever you want to pursue a new standard of expressing yourself, you do it it's not what you do, it's who you are. Because the reason why many people set resolutions and targets, and by the next month, end of next month, they've forgotten them, is because for them, for the most part, what they are pursuing is based on what they do rather than who they are. But if it's who you are, I am kind. I believe I am a child of God. So consistently, I will be expressing myself without tiring because that's who I am. So it's a virtue. That's why it's good you mentioned that Daniel was in a hostile environment. He was a captive in Babylon. Babylon was the culture of that place was mediocre by his own standard. How was Daniel able to serve under 4 kings without playing political sycophancy? How was Daniel relevant across all those regimes? How was Daniel able to transform a whole kingdom without preaching a single sermon? How was Daniel able to challenge the culture of the Babylonians, not eating what they are eating, not subscribing to their own education systems? How was Daniel able to bring solutions to things that were difficult to the astrologers and scientists of the day? Daniel 6:3. And in this Daniel was found the spirit of excellence. So the spirit of excellence, the virtue of excellence, and I believe many of our viewers being Christians, you have the spirit of excellence in you. It is something that causes you to not accept to be comfortable. You'd want to settle for the status quo, but it cannot allow you. So you must have a deep conviction. So you do it out of conviction rather than convenience. And also I think the second thing is values. You must ask yourself, what I am pursuing, is it consistent with what I stand for or I would like to be defined by? And then, of course, the last one is the why. Why are you doing it? If your motivation is not, if your motive is not strong, your motivation will be weak. In due time, you will quit. So you'll say, I no longer feel like. Why? Because why you are feeling like before, if it was to be feeling, was not solid, was not based on, and for Christians, I would suppose that you based the why you are pursuing excellence on a biblical principle.
All right, let's stay with that because that's very important. Mostly because many Christians will not work on excellence because they expect faith to deliver a miracle that will now marvel everyone. Can you speak to that?
I think if we define faith as too subjective, as a wish, or as something that does not speak to our day-to-day life, then that's where the problem is. And I don't think faith ignores the existence of the mountain. Jesus said, even if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you shall speak to this mountain. So in other words, faith does not ignore the existence of the mountain. Faith is a shovel. It plugs the soil until that mountain disappears. So I'm saying in short that when you have faith, the more why you must be excellent. Because you believe, faith, the Bible says in Hebrews 11:6, that without faith it's impossible to please God. So if you are out to please God, how better than being excellent? And being excellent, it means that you have confidence, because faith is defined according to the Amplified Version of the Bible. It paraphrases faith as absolute trust and confidence in the goodness, power, and wisdom of God. So if you know God has smiled on you, if you knew that you are the child of the excellent God, how would you succumb to mediocrity? So I think it's a misnomer and it's a wrong theology to believe that if you have faith, you should be disengaged. You should not be active. And if you are active because you have faith in the excellent God, surely even Jesus was so excellent that even in his own dressing, in the way he does the thing, the soldiers went to arrest him and they marveled at how he was speaking. They said, no man speaks like this man. The way he was packaging himself and presenting himself, he was excellent. And I believe the spirit of excellence that was in Daniel, if Daniel was just mediocre because he had faith and as a prophet, how would Daniel serve as a king, as a regional president? Because 120 governors were accountable to Daniel. How? It was not just because of faith. Daniel was a paragon of excellence, particularly because he had faith in God, the God of excellence. Yeah.
Wow. You know what I'm feeling, Reverend Joseph, is that we need another section a sequel to this,
Yeah.
where we can now engage particular practices
Yes.
that amount or build to excellence.
I'd be
But very
honored.
well put, that for the very reason that you have faith,
Yes.
excellence must follow.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Reverend Joseph,
Thank
for
you
being
so
on
much.
Spotlight.
Right.
And thank you for also putting our minds in the right place when it comes to the activities of this year.
Yeah.
And we look forward to hosting you again so that we
I'll
can
be
get
honored.
to the practical things
Yes.
on how exactly we can achieve
Yeah.
excellence, especially because we are a people of faith.
Absolutely.
And also for you, blessed New Year.
Amen. Thank you,
Have
same
an
to you.
accelerated New Year.
By God's grace.
Viewer, well, we've been talking about excellence, and we're talking to Reverend Joseph Obwanda, and sure enough, we'll have another part of this same this same topic, now engaging practically on some particular things we need to do so that the spirit of excellence, which is already resident, is stirred in us. That said, do have an accelerated 2024. This has been Spotlight. Thank you for watching.